So Red Engineer bringing up, interested in HeptaCraft, how do I get into ladder? So while we wait for this game to start, I will explain. You want to go to HeptaCraft.com. It's a .com? Is it a .com or is it .org? I think it's a .com. Join the HeptaCraft Discord. Just Google it. And there's a lobby of people who are usually looking to play, some group of people. And then from there, you just have to play it. You go into your multiplayer custom lobby and then you add an extension. That's really all you have to do at its base. On the HeptaCraft website, you want to download the ladder client. It's just a batch file that runs, and all it does is it sends some of your StarCraft bank data to Summerloud so he can rank you in ladder. You just run it in the background while you play. And that's it. That is literally it. So give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's great. All right, we're heading to New Gettysburg. This is round 2. We're going to be watching WildCard versus Apocalypse. Both of these players, vanilla, Masters level players, one in Division 2, one in Division 3. I think this will be a great matchup, and both of these players are not new to HeptaCraft. Apocalypse, I think, was rank 3 in the ladder. I may be wrong about that. I honestly don't remember, but both of these players are very good at HeptaCraft. They have some experience with the mod. And by some, I mean a lot. In the bottom right, we have WildCard spawning as the Red Raiders. In the bottom left, we have Apocalypse choosing between Nerazim and Swarm. He gets Nerazim. You know, I try to make that kind of a cliffhanger, like, oh, what'd he pick? You got these two races, which one? And all you have to do is look and see, like, is there creep on the map? No? Okay, he's the not Zerg one. Okay, so Nerazim versus Raiders. This might be a matchup I don't think I've ever seen. That's exciting. I'm pretty sure this is a matchup I've never seen. But I don't know, someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, anybody familiar with all the games that I've casted. But the great thing about HeptaCraft is there's so many different types of matchups that there's probably a bunch that we've never seen on my channel, so it's really cool to watch all of these. And I also have a ton of replays sent to me by Rainy Hour that I really look forward to casting as well. That's going to be really, really fun. So Apocalypse as Nerazim. I've actually played against Apocalypse, and he really likes going to really fast fanatics. I've seen him throw down 2 warp gates and just send a bunch of fanatics across the map. Fanatics are the Nerazim Zealot variant, and they're a little faster, they attack a little faster, but they do a little less damage and don't have a base +1 armor. So they're more of like a harassment Zealot that you can use late game. You can still get charge on them, you can actually get shadow charge on them, that kind of stuff. Here's our Morv from WildCard. Once again, I'll say, in case you're new here, joining in later on into the second round of the tournament, we did see this last time, but basically what this is it looks like a mule, but it's a Morv. It only repairs, so it's a great scouting tool early on, because otherwise it doesn't really have a use. And it's the best way, in my opinion, to spend your early energy. Though you could call down supplies as well, might be a good alternative. Scouting, though, always quite invaluable. Apocalypse doing the opposite of what I have seen him do in the past and getting a fast cyber core. And again, he's really prone to going Phoenixes, so I'm curious to see if that's what he's going to do. Meanwhile, WildCard, he is starting his wall in, getting a tech reactor on his first barracks and getting a second barracks. So rather than going into fast factory, we may see a large bio build here from WildCard. Now, interesting in this matchup, both of these factions are really good at hit and run type tactics. Apocalypse actually supply blocked right now. What's his plan? He's sending his first Fanatic running across the map right here, as you can see. They were nerfed a little bit since the last tournament. I did a replay cast kind of explaining. They have a little bit less health. I think it's 20 total. It's like 10 less shields and 10 less health. So I think that's good, though. Fanatics with a Fanatic, Dark Templar, Annihilator drops were very, very, very powerful in the past, and I think Nerazim are in a good spot now. Okay, so we see a supply call down with 1 Raider here, and he's going to do his best. 2 Raiders out, the Fanatic not going to be able to get in. Apocalypse realizing he's not going to be able to do enough damage to get through this for now. So really good fast defense there by WildCard. He did run in, and I mean, he didn't really scout anything out of the ordinary, but we do have Adepts here from Apocalypse. So the way that the Nerazim work is at your tech structures, you have to unlock units. So he unlocked Adepts, tomato, tomato, and now he's able to build them. Adepts, though very powerful harassment units, actually cost early game Terrazine, so that can affect you late game for sure. Fast Warp Robo out from Apocalypse as well. What is his plan here? No Phoenixes either, and instead going Adepts. So, you know, 2 Adepts can just wipe out a worker line fairly quickly, so that's why they cost Terrazine. So he unlocked those. No Stalker unlock coming out, though, and no Warp Pylons. So it looks like no really fast harassment from Apocalypse. He may be able to send those Adepts across the map. Instead, he may just leave those and maybe going for a Warp Prism instead, though. Nothing really from either player looking like early aggression beyond those early Fanatics. And here comes a really fast... Jayborino just talking about no early aggression from either player. We see a decent-sized, maybe 10 Marines here. How many Marines is this? Yeah, 10 Marines and 2 Field Medics coming across the map from WildCard. Really fast bio-aggression from Raiders. I'm curious to see how this is going to go against 2 Adepts who can stand behind these buildings and kind of pick them off. And in the meantime, though, we have 4 Adepts in a Warp Prism. This is going to be an interesting trade. And uh-oh, the Warp Prism going to fly right over the Marines, full of 4 Adepts. That's 28 Terrazine. Oh, get out of there, Apocalypse. Oh my god, my butthole just puckered as I watched that happen. That amount of Terrazine to lose for no gain at this point in the match is terrifying to think about. Dropping the Adepts, and a Wildcard maybe now rethinking against 5 Adepts. Bio is not going to do so well. Keep in mind, these Adepts do really, really well against Light. 20 damage versus Light, plus 2 of the Fanatics. So I'm curious to know if what WildCard is going to transition into. He did see the Warp Prism, so he knows that those drops are possible. He just ran his Marine over to see Apocalypse moving in his direction, so he may get a little more defensive. WildCard, though, committing to his expansion and pulling back. So we'll see if he's going to go defensive again. I think maybe from his perspective, he saw these units starting to move across the thin bridge and may assume that Apocalypse is coming for him. But he's finishing his factory, more Marines, more Field Medics. These Field Medics aren't bad. I think it's 3 per 1. Yeah, 3 life per 1 energy. That's really not bad. And yeah, like I was saying, I think WildCard expecting an attack, so he's dropping bunkers in his bases. And there's the drop. And actually, WildCard reacting very, very well. I'm curious to know if he's okay. He gets out with 2 of these Adepts, but how many workers did he get? Only 2 workers for the cost of 2 Adepts. The third one actually quite low. And WildCard throwing out a bunker in his mineral line. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, he's got bunkers in both of his mineral lines, and he's looks like he's committing to this bio. He's got the Marines with the Field Medics, and Apocalypse trying to drop again and saying, you know, this bunker's in a great spot, and unless he flies below the bunker and drops on the other side, I don't think he's going to be able to get in with those. So that's a lot of Terrazine and early harass commitment by Apocalypse that's sort of lost. What is he going to transition into, though? Looks like he's got his Robo Bay. He's trying to enable disruptors. You have to, again, same with the Robo and the Gateway Tech. You have to enable certain units as Nerazim. So let's check the units for both of these players. I think WildCard's in a pretty good position. He's got a decent Bioforce, and there's only 3 Adepts on the field. So with that amount of Marines, the Adepts aren't going to pose too much of a problem. It's really what type of harassment that Apocalypse can do. Throwing on pylons behind his Nexus here. See if he's going to have some cannons or something to defend himself. I'm not sure. But both players, just like last match, relatively low unit count for this point in the game. It's actually quite interesting. We're seeing more of a macro focus in these HeptaCraft games in this tournament, which is really cool. We got missile turrets going down, really anti-harassment. And if you focus on anti-harassment in HeptaCraft, you can see some really long games with some of those late game forces. Oh my god, the tiny fire bats! I love them so much. I love the tiny fire bats. I don't know why. They're just they're so small. It's great. Summerloud pointing out in the chat right now, Apocalypse is a 1-base master. I agree. Yeah, he does so much off of 1 base. And it's risky, but in HeptaCraft, you have a lot of minerals at your starting base. You really can do a lot of 1-base play. And that's what I love about HeptaCraft. It's so diverse. There's so many different ways to play. You aren't hamstrung by doing interesting creative strats on 1 base. And, you know, it's cheesing, but who cares? I think that's the fun of it. If you lose to cheese, then you need to learn how to counter it. You need to scout, that kind of stuff. And cheesing in HeptaCraft, cheesing, quote-unquote, is much different than cheesing in vanilla, that's for sure. There's so many, I think, completely plausible 1-base strats. And here we go, Warp Prism with 2 Disruptors in it. This is a callback to the olden days. Dropping the Disruptors. Let's see the Nova going out. How many SCVs? 2 SCVs from 1. Throwing out 1 more Disruptor hit. Oh, so much bio goes down to that Disruptor and getting out of there with both Disruptors. Great play by Apocalypse. Wow. Really, really good Purification Novas right there. He's got his Warp Prism here, calling in Fanatics. Possibly going to try to go on the offensive on the back of that, and that was a wonderful, wonderful hit right there. Yep, sending the rest of his forces across the map. He realizes, I just killed a lot of Bioforces. WildCard, what does he have right now? He just has a couple Marines, 2 Ravens, though. Those are actually very fast Ravens. There's the Disruptors again, throwing out 1 more Purification Nova, only 1 Field Medic going down. But here we go. One more Purification Nova. Do we see splits? 2 more Field Medics going down. The Marines are still alive, and here come the Fanatics. Wildcard maybe now realizing he's in trouble. And what can these Ravens do? They don't have enough energy to do anything, unfortunately. No mass repair in the bunker right now as Apocalypse following up with the Warp Prism as Wildcard. GG's. Really well played by Apocalypse. Both players doing great there. Wildcard, unfortunately, not able to get done what he wanted to get done with that early attack. But that was an intense mid-game into an end. That was a great game to watch, in my opinion, as we see Nerazim coming through with their really powerful harassment, that War Prism Disruptor drop. It's a callback to the old Shuttle Reaver drops, and that's fun to see.